Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 2nd of May. Looking at the Eurodollar first, and well, we put in a shooting star yesterday. The Fed data was certainly less dovish than expected. In fact, pretty neutral. It wasn't particularly hawkish, I wouldn't have said, but pretty neutralish, maybe as some may have expected. So where to today? Well, we broke through a trend that had been pushing up there. It's a key reversal sort of bar that was put in there, completely engulfed the prior bar. It's seen a bit of a continuation, but bounce and probably no surprise. And there is a chance we could still pull back from anywhere where we are towards the daily pivot, which is above. A break of maybe a 60-minute 200 will see us selling back down towards the weekly pivot, maybe further. The S1 sits around there, daily S1 sits around there as well. Bigger picture, I'm really looking. We're in a short from yesterday's trade in our trading room there, and looking towards that 1120 as initial target. Maybe we'll look for some more from that, but. That's a bigger picture of what I'm looking at the moment. Okay, so that's the euro dollar bearish outlook and well potential for back to a pivot, but I think we've had a bit of a crafty one there with the expectation. But once again, the expectation was for a much more dovish Fed, which in fact they were less dovish than last time. Pound, well, today we've got the Bank of England inflation report, the MPC votes, etc., policy statement. There's no Carney speaking at 12:30. I was going to say there's no Carney speaking, and then realise there's so much other stuff amongst it. Carney is speaking at 12:30, so we will get Carney speaking at 12:30. It's unlikely that anything would change at the front end. It's probably Carney's speech which may create some volatility. Similar sort of price action, bearish engulfing that sort of caught in there on that 4-hourly bar, consolidated where we are. It's possibly got more chance of an upside than the euro with the MPC meeting coming today. We have, though, technically old-fashioned, almost head and shouldery pattern sort of sitting there. If it can break this 60-minute 50 at some point, maybe we'll see a bigger correction to the downside, maybe even towards its daily S2. The pivots are quite pinched. We had quite light movement yesterday. So that's the pound, sorry. I'm erring more bearish technically, but as I say, the fundamentals later on, and it may be one best avoided until post-news. Dollar yen, what a reversal we saw there, but let's look at the dailies here first. And well, it did eventually put a doji in there, and it's pushing up on this quite old week for the yen. It was just selling off yesterday up until the Fed report, and that just saw that reverse. Where to from here? Well, it's a mess, and to be quite honest, I don't even think it's worth analysing as such, but I said that yesterday, and I had a lovely little trend on the 60 minutes which we missed. I suggested, well, perhaps if it breaks that trend line, it could be good for the S1, and we completely overlooked it and didn't see it. So maybe we'll get something. We've got the daily pivot below here today. It's just very little in the way of pips. Maybe a few more actually to be had. Maybe about 20 pips. But if it starts breaking through, maybe that 60-minute 8. If it starts selling lower, or the 1152 area, we've got a chance of maybe about 28 pips down towards that daily pivot. But I'm not overly convinced. I'm more bullish on the yen than anything. Okay, I looked at it much longer than I expected to look at it just then. It drew me in. Aussie dollar. I'm bearish on the Aussie dollar. It's put a bearish pivot swing in there on the dailies. A break to the downside here. Well, we're into sort of no man's land. Looking at this, I mean, it didn't push up anything. I mean, like what we saw with the other currencies, where they were sort of making a bit more headway yesterday, and well, we saw very little of that with the Aussie. Tried it maybe very early on there, but never really got anywhere. Big bearish engulfing 60-minute. Where to? Well, it's already hit the daily pivot. To me, it looks like it could roll back towards the S1 and the prior lows there. Okay, it's the Aussie. Canadian dollar, another soft currency here. Okay, it's done its monthly pivot nicely. Let's tick that box off, and there's a lovely trend line running across there. Maybe if later in the day it breaks that trend line, it could be on for a move in the bigger picture up to its weekly R1 there. Short term, you may be looking at just the daily R1. So there we are. News, as I said, it's really all about the pound today, and have a great one. Bye for now.